So I'm going to give you several tips about how to make the frame by frame animations more interesting. Right, a tool we can use is called Puppet Warp Tool, which is grouped with the free transform tool. Right, so if you see a free transform tool, you right click and you can add access to the Puppet Warp Tool. So I'm going to use that in a new file. So just for example, we just draw a really simple person with arms, legs, and body shape and the head. Sorry. Yes, just as an example. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so now I want to make some movement on his arms and legs and also the head. So what we can use is we can do the Puppet Warp Tool, right? Select it and you can see we can click on each portion of the body part to for example, we'll click on his head. So you can see I click on his head, we got a point here, right? So this is called control point. So if we click and drag on the point, you can see the area of the head is moving, right? So the same thing is if we add a point on his leg, you can see it's automatically added the point, right? So if I drag the leg, this left leg just move separately. If I drag the point on the right leg, it move separately. And also I add a control point on the arm, click and drag. You can see I got the arm move, right? So I add a point on the right arm and drag. You can see on the right arm is moving smoothly. So yeah, so this point allow you to create a smooth transformation on this particular area where you place your control point. So whenever some of the point you don't need some of the points, you can click and just hit delete it, right? Click and delete it. Yeah, so now you can see that we can make the person shake his head, we can make him to move the arm in a smooth way, right? So if we create a frame by frame animation, artboard Command C, Command V, right? And we can, from this pin, we can go back to the Puppet Warp Tool. Sorry. So we click on the person first and go to the Puppet Warp Tool, right? So we, for the second frame, we change his head a little bit. We make him raise her right arm a little bit, right? And we Command C, Command V at the third frame, and we make some other changes. We continually use the Puppet Warp Tool to make some transitions, to distort his body, right? Just imagine what's happening when we connect those frames. It's a really fun animation that change the pose. Right, so yeah, so Command C, Command V, and keep adding frames to make changes. Drag it, right? Yeah, just depends on how you want to make the animation look like. So yeah, so this is how the Puppet Warp Tool works. So yeah, so let's see another example. So if you already have your character design, and let's see what's happening if you use the Live Puppet Warp Tool. Click on it, right? So you can see I can shake the green bar here, right? It can create a shaking animation, and I can make it distort in the way I want in a really interesting way, right? So I can change the place of control point on the eyes, drag it on the eyes, and drag it to make a different facial expressions for the character. I can place a pin. Actually, I'm going to delete this one. Drag the mouse. You can see I got a really, or in this way, right? I got really different facial expressions when I'm distorting the particular area of a character here, and I can drag this way. Yeah, so you see it's a really smooth transformation of you're reshaping the character. Yes. So another thing I want to introduce about is how you can change a 2D character into a 3D style. So for example, this is your character. So we are going to do it one section by section, right? So first I'm going to deselect the outline. Yeah. So from here, if I click on the first piece, I can go to the effect and 3D and materials, and I'm going to select inflate. And you can see when selecting the inflate, I got a 3D outcome here. So I'm going to click on this one, the render with ray tracing, to make the lightning more natural. I'm going to click on second part and do exactly the same thing for each part, right? I'm going to click on the inflate, going to click on the render with inflate and render with the ray tracing. And also this part inflate. You can see my character is gradually turned into a 3D feel, right? Here, this one inflate. Yeah. Yes, so it's better to do it just piece by piece, right? So we do not select all the character and inflate it at once. Yeah, so now this part is grouped. So we right click, we ungroup it, and we do the inflate for each part. This one, the teeth. Yes, and then you can see I got a 3D style character. So also if you want to make some part flat, you can change the volume, right? So if I decrease the percentage of the volume, you can see this part becomes flat, right? So if you want to make it looks more 3D, I'm going to turn it into 100% back, same as other part, right? You can just depends on how you want your character to look like. It looks like a toy for me. It's interesting. Yeah. So so the thing is, you can also change the lightning here, some settings, right? So you can change the intensity of the lightning. You can change the rotation, right? Just apply with good lightning for your character. Yeah, so when you get this one, it's the same thing that you can always use the direct selection tool to adjust the anchor point, right? So it works the same way as the 2D elements, and you can also select everything and using the puppet warp tool, right, to add the control points and drag it to create some transformation of the shape, to create some distort that you want for your frame by frame animation. Right, the thing is, if it's a 3D, it will make your computer slow. That's the downside, right? Yeah, so if it's really slow, you can go to the object and expand appearance. And each part of the design is turned into, it's not a vector arts anymore, it's a shape, it's an image, which means you cannot make any changes from this panel. Also, you may not have the anchor point anymore. You may not have to use the puppet warp tool anymore, right? So yeah, but you can still make some simple changes. Like you can rotate, you can adjust, distort the bar, right? You can change the position of the eyes, right? You can still make some changes, but not a lot changes, because now those pieces turn into the image. But it will not take much memory as the vector 3D art. Yeah, so this is how we are but this is a really nice way you can turn your character into a 3D style, make some changes and bring them into Photoshop to animate them. Yeah, so these are the two tools we talked about that you can use in your design for the final project.